Welcome back to kinser'skeep. Thank you so much for watching, liking and subscribing.
Om het nieuwe jaar 2022 te beginnen gaan we terugkijken naar onze reis naar Amsterdam deze laatste december, waar we een bezoekje hebben genomen aan de huis van Bols.
What she said.
Back to English. The House of Bols is located in Amsterdam's museum quarter and functions as an interactive museum where you can learn about Lucas Bols, the world's oldest distilled spirits brand. You can take a tour or have a more interactive experience with cocktail workshops. We took the audio-guided tour, which led us through several experiences using flavor, sound, aroma, and film. Not only did we learn how the company started, almost 450 years ago in 1575, but also how they came to achieve the largest range of liqueurs worldwide. We checked out all 38 of them in the Hall of Taste, but you can also find these liqueurs at most bars. Bols Triple Sec, ring a bell?
Let's also not forget about Genever, or Genever, which has been Holland's national spirit since as early as the 17th century. Now, since the history of Genever is so extensive, it really deserves its own episode. But until then, let's just picture Genever as a spirit that lands somewhere between whiskey and gin, with more malty flavors than just juniper. That brings us to this week's cocktail, Dutch hot chocolate. Now, as far as that history goes, it's worth mentioning that in 1828, a man by the name of Conrad Johannes van Houten, or as Aysha correctly pronounces it,
Conrad Johannes van Houten.
Dankjewel,
Alsjeblieft.
created the first cocoa powder producing machine in the Netherlands. Now, this process reduced the natural acidity of the cocoa and left it with a much less bitter taste. Now, the cocoa powder that we're using today has been treated with an alkalizing agent and can be found at Whole Foods or even online. So, let's take our Dutch cocoa and throw in some Bols Genever, and let's make it vegan and throw in some oat milk. Let's make it. Whoa. Whoa. Whew. Oh, hey. Something about hot cocoa? Just kidding. Since we're making hot cocoa, why don't we make a hot cocoa mix that'll last us a while? That way, when you want 1 cup or 2 cups or, I don't know, 5, the work's already done. Here's a list of the ingredients you'll need to make it. To start, let's grab a large mixing bowl and add 3 cups of granulated white sugar. I love that sound. Followed by a half a cup of packed brown sugar. And we mustn't forget our tablespoon of table salt. Be careful using kosher salt because it might be too coarse to dissolve easily. Perfect. Now we're going to grab our sieve, place it on top of our bowl, and we're going to add just under 2.5 cups of our Dutch processed cocoa powder. Careful, it likes to explode. Now, all we have to do is whisk until all the lumps have gone through the sieve. There you go. You see those lumpy bits there? Just give them a tap and a whisk. A tap and a whisk until it's all gone through. Now comes the whiskey business. Just whisk until everything is well mixed. Now, if you like things a little bit sweeter, as always, just add a little bit more sugar. But if you like your cocoa a little bit more rich, just add more cocoa. This mix makes about 30 cups of hot cocoa, give or take. Pour it all into a container and keep for 1 year. All that's left to do is to heat up 1 cup of milk on the stove. So, in a pot, add your milk and turn the flame on high. Feel free to add 2% milk, but I'm going to go with Oatly full-fat oat milk. And of course, you can use whatever dairy-free milk you'd like. Heat the milk until it starts to bubble. Then turn off the flame and whisk in 2 generous tablespoons of cocoa mix into your pot. It's ready when there's no lumps left. Now, grab your glass, mug, and add 1.5 ounces of Bols Genever. And then we'll pour our hot cocoa right on top. Make sure to leave some room for our vegan chartreuse whipped cream. Check the link below for that recipe. Here we are. Perfect. Now, after the whipped cream, you can sprinkle some optional dark chocolate shavings right on top. And that's vegan Dutch hot chocolate. Since we're making hot cocoa, let's make a hot cocoa mix that...
Okay, you can stop recording.